last time we spoke, we were talking about osteoporosis. We said that osteoporosis is a manifestation of a body in breakdown mode. The body's either in breakdown mode or it's in build-up mode, one or the other. Nothing neutral about the human body. It's either breaking down or building up, at least in a net sense. Just like in your business is either net in the red or net in the black. Your body is either net in the red or net in the black. If it's net in the red, it's breaking down more than it's building up. Not good. That's what happens as we get older. If it's net in the black, that means it's building up more than it's breaking down. That's very good. That's like your little kid. That's like your 5-year-old kid. You know how we're all fascinated with little kids? We just look at them. If you have a little kid, you just stare at your kid and you can't believe how much energy he's got. He's bouncing off the walls, and he's not depressed, that's for sure. And doesn't have osteoporosis, that's for sure. And he doesn't have any degenerative diseases, that's for sure, because he's net building up. Health, wellness is a build-up. It's a build-up phenomena. It's a net in the black phenomena. Osteoporosis, likewise, is a degenerative phenomenon. Osteoporosis is not a curse or an inevitable sign of doom. It's as reversible as any other degenerative condition. Yes, without a doubt, degenerative disease is not good, and it represents a road to an early demise. But like any road, you can take it in two directions. If you are on the degenerative disease highway, the road to degeneration, you can do a U-turn to regeneration, and that is nobody's business but yours. It's not your doctor's business. It's not your insurance company's business. It's not your pharmacist's business. It's not a medical issue. If you're dealing with a degenerative disease like osteoporosis, it is not a medical issue. I don't know how many different ways I can say this. Yes, your doctor's going to steal the right to take care of your body because he makes money on it. Do you really want to be an ATM machine for the medical model? I do not think so. Osteoporosis is not a medical issue. They will tell you it is. They will scream like a stuck pig when you tell them you're taking your health concerns back in your own hands. Oh, what medical school did you go to? And if anyone tries to convince you that you need Fosamax or you need Actonel or you need any other osteoporosis drug, you can refuse. Taking a drug to deal with osteoporosis is like taking a drug to build muscles. And you go ask any bodybuilder, anybody at the gym, anybody who's working out, any athlete, is there a prescription drug you can take to build muscle? Of course not. Have you ever heard of a strong pill that's going to make you strong and powerful? A muscle pill that'll build muscles? No, there isn't one, and there can't be. That's why drugs are called pharmaceuticals, because they're poisons. Pharma means poison. Poisons don't build things, they kill things. How in the name of God did we get convinced that we can get healthy and strong on any level, including bone, by taking poison drugs? As far as osteoporosis is concerned, only the most ignorant, dyed-in-the-wool, hardcore Kool-Aid drinking proponent of the medical model can think that playing around with the calcium and phosphate chemistry of the body is a good idea for addressing what is basically a degenerative breakdown disease caused by, unfortunately, poor lifestyle choices. At the risk of being the bearer of bad news, osteoporosis, friends, is the manifestation of a long-term lifetime of bad living, of bad choices, and that's pretty much it. I know it's not politically correct to say we are responsible for our breakdowns, but I can't lie to you. I wish I could tell you, just take calcium. Just take this pill. Just take this supplement. Just take this medicine and your osteoporosis will go away, but that's not honest. That's not fair. And it's not necessary. The unfortunate truth is, it's simply the body, osteoporosis is simply the body breaking down. And it's 100.00% not a drug issue. The medical model will tell you it is. It has an incentive to medicalize. That's how it survives. That's how doctors make a living. By presenting or by framing your problem, your degenerative problem, as a medical problem. And these days, women who feel fine and who aren't dumb enough to fall for this osteoporosis is a disease trap, now women are being told they have osteoporosis light, osteoporosis junior. It's called osteopenia. And like osteoporosis, it is not a disease. You don't need Fosamax for osteopenia. It's just simply the body breaking down. It's not as severe as osteoporosis. It's osteoporosis light. If your doctor is pushing you to take Fosamax or something similar, you may want to enlighten him by letting him know that bisphosphonate drugs, toxic as they are, do not build bone. Bisphosphonate drugs do not strengthen bone. They do not encourage the production of healthy bone. They simply poison the body's remodeling system. They keep the body from breaking down old bone so that new bone can replace it. And oh, by the way, that's how estrogen works. So if your doctor told you, oh, you need estrogen to build strong bones, you may want to enlighten your doctor and tell him, no, doctor, estrogen does not build bone. Estrogen simply keeps the old bone from breaking down, much like Fosamax. And by the way, Fosamax and estrogen, because they stop the remodeling process, because they stop the body from breaking down bone, they actually weaken your bones, and that's where bisphosphonate fractures come from. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. Got more good stuff to tell you. When I come back, I'll tell you how you really can deal with osteoporosis drug-free. We're coming back right after this. Don't go away. Did you guys catch the Rolling Stones? They actually did a gig in Hollywood, and Mick Jagger is 70 years old, and I'm watching this thing on YouTube, and you know what? There's no way this guy's got osteoporosis, because he's working out, because he's moving his muscles, because he's moving his bones. If your doctor is telling you to take Fosamax to build your bones, jeez Louise, Fosamax is one of the most... It's one of the nastiest drugs in the pharmacy, and that's saying something, folks. Fosamax, Actonel, these bisphosphonates, they are nasty drugs, number one. Number two, they do nothing to strengthen bone. And number three, they can actually weaken bone. By blocking the remodeling process, by blocking the body's ability to degrade old bone and build new bone, Fosamax and drugs like Fosamax, the bisphosphonate class of drugs, can actually weaken bone. If you have osteoporosis, if you have any degenerative disease, there's lots you can do, lots, without drugs. Without doctors, without pharmacies, without insurance companies, without waiting in line, without side effects, without toxicities. For one thing, correct digestive issues, correct malabsorption issues. You can't absorb calcium if you got a gallbladder problem. You can't absorb zinc if you have a gallbladder problem. You can't absorb vitamin A without a gallbladder, or if you have a gallbladder issue, or if you have a liver issue, or if you have an intestinal issue. Correct digestive issues. I know I sound like a broken record. I don't mean to, but I can't lie to you folks. If you have a degenerative disease, job number one is to focus on the digestive system. That means probiotics. Get on the nightly essence. That means eliminating crappy foods. That means eating less foods, reducing your calories. It's one of the all-time great bodybuilder secrets. Reduce your caloric intake. Go a day without eating food. Practice intermittent fasting. Stay away from foods that trigger digestive symptoms. Eat more protein, especially whey protein, and don't pay any attention to somebody who tells you that eating more protein can weaken your bones. There's some silly rumor out there that eating protein can cause your body to leak out calcium, and while certain proteins, certain foods may do that, it's not all protein foods, and it's most definitely not whey protein. Whey protein is a wonderful, wonderful bone-building food. Stay away from foods that make you feel bloated or make you feel gassy. Fructose is an especially bad problem when it comes to bone health. Eat more eggs. Eggs and whey contain youth factors, building factors, growth factors, including the yolk, by the way, when you're eating your eggs. Nothing comes close to whey and eggs when it comes to total building food value. And there's no greater enemy to the bone than sugar, whether it's sugar straight as a sweetener, and that includes fructose, or whether it's sugar in its more disguised form like bread and cereals and pasta and snack bars and processed foods of all kinds. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but osteoporosis in many ways is an eating disease. It's a food issue. Processed foods, which comprise 90%, according to the book Foodopoly, of the American diet, are death foods. Processed foods are aging foods. Processed foods are degenerating foods. Processed foods are really anti-foods. They're lifeless, mummified, zombie foods that have been animated, brought to life like Mary Shelley's monster, with artificial chemicals and sugar and salt and fat which act to artificially vivify foods. They're frankenfoods. And refined sugar and high fructose corn syrup, they might as well be bone-dissolving acid. We all want to know what supplements to take, but we're not willing to give up the pasta or the ice cream or the French fries or whatever it is that is not only messing up our digestive health, but maximizing inflammation. And inflammation, now that will really cause osteoporosis. And again, I'm talking micro-inflammation, the kind of inflammation that occurs at the microscopic level of a cell. True, there are supplements that are important, but osteoporosis is an inflammatory disease like all degenerative disease. Osteoporosis and breakdown disease are the result of long-term inflammation at the cellular level, at the microscopic cellular level. Inflammation means toxification. Inflammation means starvation. Inflammation means suffocation of a cell. And there is no way cells can be healthy under those kinds of conditions. Osteoporosis is Alzheimer's disease of the bone. It's the same thing. Just substitute bone for brain cells. Osteoporosis is arthritis of the bones. Just substitute cartilage-making cells for bone-making cells. If you have osteoporosis, if you have osteopenia, or if you just want to have strong, healthy bones at any age, number one, get out there and exercise. It doesn't take a lot. Walk up the stairs once a day. Walk up 2 or 3 flights of stairs once a day and take days off. It's not that hard to exercise. It's 5 or 10 minutes a day. And it doesn't matter how sick you are. Even if you're in a wheelchair, you can still do some kind of exercise. And change the foods you eat and focus on proteins, especially cartilage proteins, whey protein, and egg protein, and use polysaccharides. Use long-chain sugars. These are wonderfully bone-building. If I had osteoporosis, I would be using polysaccharides every day. Complex sugars, these substances that are found in the Z-radical, in aloe, in noni. The Z-radical can be a wonderful bone-building tool, as can noni juice and aloe and veggies. Don't forget, vegetables are a wonderful source of polysaccharides, long-chain sugars that stimulate the growth of tissue, including bone tissue. And by the way, if you have osteoporosis, that means that you're probably breaking down in other areas too. Collagen in osteoporosis, collagen in bone that breaks down when you have osteoporosis also breaks down in your skin. So folks who are dealing with osteoporosis are at higher risk for wrinkles. Collagen helps your internal organs hang correctly. So folks who are dealing with osteoporosis are also at risk for prolapsed bladders and prolapsed uteruses, whatever the word is. Use gelatin. Use the glucogel caps. Make sure you're getting minerals, and not just calcium. We all hear about calcium, but you know what? Magnesium is just as important, maybe even more important than calcium for the bones. So is zinc. So is strontium. So is phosphorus. Osteoporosis and osteopenia and weak bones, despite what we hear on the radio and TV and from your doctor and even alternative healthcare practitioners, is much, much more than a calcium deficiency. We get plenty of calcium in this country. There's no shortage of calcium in foods in the United States, yet 40 million or nearly 40 million Americans are dealing with osteoporosis or some kind of bone porosity health issue. If you have osteoporosis, in my opinion, my humble opinion, you are crazy if you're not using 50 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate every day with 2 to 4 milligrams of copper, and using vitamin A. Vitamin A is very, very important, not just for the bones, but also important for zinc. Folks who are dealing with zinc deficiency are typically also dealing with vitamin A deficiency. 20,000 IU of vitamin A, and it's especially important if you have absorption issues, because vitamin A is a little bit tricky for the body to absorb, as is zinc for that matter. And don't forget vitamin C, which may be the all-time most important vitamin, most important nutritional supplement for dealing with osteoporosis or degenerating bone. Vitamin C deficiency will literally cause your bones to dissolve. Scurvy, which is a disease that we hardly ever see, although we may see subclinical scurvy, but full-blown frank scurvy hardly ever occurs. But scurvy is a disease where the body literally dissolves. The collagen, which makes up nearly 30% of your bone, literally dissolves, and you don't have to have full-blown frank scurvy to be dealing with a vitamin C, a subclinical vitamin C deficiency that's affecting your bones. And by the way, progesterone is way more important for bone health, for really building bone, than estrogen. If I had osteoporosis, I would make darn sure I was using progesterone cream on a daily basis. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. Got a couple more things that we want to say about osteoporosis. We'll do that when we come back from our break. 855-660-4261 is our number. We'll be back right after this.